Hello, today I will be walking you through the basics of a case competition. Now you might be wondering, what is a case competition? Well, a case competition is essentially when you're given a business problem and in a certain amount of time, it might be 36 hours, it might be a week, to assemble a team, come up with a solution, and then present it.
So you're checking your emails and you're like, oh my goodness, there is a case comp coming. This is so exciting. There it is, case competition. What do I do now?
Now you assemble a team. Who should you have on your case team? Basically, you should have people that you get along with well, that you can work with well, probably people who are your friends, or people that will become your friends after the case. That is the short answer. On a longer answer, if you can get someone who can teach you a lot, you should be very grateful and definitely take an opportunity to learn from them. If you have a chance to work with people who are at the same level as you, that's also a neat opportunity to learn and grow as a team. Either way, whether it's someone who knows way more than you do or someone who knows like the same amount as you want to form a team of people that you generally like and can work well with.
I have made my artist depiction of your team. Got the email, texted everyone, they're like, yes, I'll totally do the case, and now you're good to go. Okay, got your team, now you've got the case. I would just set up a Box account or Google Drive so everyone can have the same files. Then go through the case. Seems pretty self-explanatory, but make sure everyone on your team has an understanding of what's going on. So in this case, let's pretend it's a pharmaceutical company. You're reading it, taking notes like, oh my gosh, things are going really rough. You know, they made this acquisition.
It's not going the way they expected it to.
Huge bummer. Another important thing to do while you're reading the case is to have a key question. So you want to ask the group, what is it that we're answering? And chances are it'll be something like, how does the company increase their profit? Because, why else would they have you there?
To clarify, there have been cases where that wasn't the question. I was in this one really weird case where the question was essentially, there's 7 people, but only 5 airline seats. Which 2 people shouldn't be on the airplane? But for the most part, it'll be about growth or expansion or something like that.
So now that you've got the key question, you can have everyone come up with what they think the issue is here. So how do they increase profits? One person might be like, oh, you just need to cut costs by firing people. Other person might be like, just make better drugs. One person might talk about an acquisition, and you might think that they should move into another market. So your team has all these different ideas. How do you decide which one to go for? The way I would recommend doing it is by researching. Yes. Having everyone go and research a specific area and come back the next day or in a few hours with their findings, so that way you guys can make an informed decision on what strategy to go with. Oh, and an important point I almost forgot. When you're coming up with ideas, it can be helpful to use an issue tree. And all this is, it's taking down an issue, so in this case profit, and breaking it into mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive, MECE sub-issues. So profit consists of revenue and cost, and that's essentially all there is. Cost can be broken down into, this probably isn't entirely MECE, but it's close. I would say land, labor, capital, and intangibles. So that way you can help think through, okay, so if we're going to try to increase their profit by lowering costs, we can think about their land, their labor, that's what the one person was suggesting, firing people, capital, so maybe they can get better deals on machines, or intangibles, so licenses, maybe they can reduce costs by selling off some of their patents that aren't bringing in as much revenue. So then on the revenue side, you can break it down into quantity and price, quantity of the same products or different products, and then if you're going to go with different products, you could have new ones by doing organic growth, so researching new products from the inside, or inorganic, which is where you have like an acquisition or something like that. This is a rough issue tree, but I think it can give you a basic idea of one way to think through the different causes of a problem before you start researching where you think the cause is coming from. Short-term thinking. Alright, at this point, you have your hypotheses, you did the research, you come back as a team, and you share your findings. One person might be like, oh, the research said this is a good idea. Oh man, my research said it's a great idea. Other person's like, meh, behavior was just kind of like there. And the other person's like, oh my gosh, competition is so hot there. we should not do, my idea. Then you have your findings, your research, you discuss it, sometimes you argue it, but you come to a conclusion, you settle on your idea. We are moving into Africa, so exciting. So at this point you want to figure out the 3 reasons why you're moving into Africa, and these can be a wide range of things. So you can just brainstorm, think about the government, think about the consumer trends, technology, distribution, what their core strengths are, and eventually just come up with 3 sentences of why you're moving, why you're doing your strategy. These are the population, growing market, plays into their strengths, classic reasons why. Okay, congratulations, you have your plan, you have your ideas. Now you just have to make the slide deck and get ready to present. Every slide deck is unique and beautiful. A lot of them tend to have some common elements. So here's some things I think you should have in your slide deck. Of course, definitely don't have to, but some things I usually include. So start out with the title slide, then move into a slide that introduces your team. Then there, talk about the current situation, what's going on with the company. Then talk about why you're here. There's a challenge happening. The animations are fun. So then you move into the question. This is important. What is it that you're answering? What is your team recommending? Then you talk about your solution. Notice how I usually like to have a bar at the bottom, kind of showing where you are in the presentation, and something at the top that talks about what the slide is about. So then you move into the 3 reasons why. There we have those 3 reasons that aren't on the board anymore. But then put into slide form, lots of icons, love icons. Yeah, reason 1, reason 2, reason 3, and so reason 3 part 2. So then from there you have your reasons. It's good to include financial results, projections. How do you do projections? You just kind of use growth and estimations based off of other companies and things like that. There are probably much more sophisticated ways to do it, but I'm not aware of them yet. Have your timeline on when is the company going to roll out your strategy, kind of give them some of the details there. And then from there, talk about some risks and review the presentation. Yeah, and then you're done. You can have a nice little appendix slide where you can say, oh yeah, you want to know about this? We talked about it. Cool. Those are the main elements of a slide deck. Great. Slide decks usually do take quite a bit of time to put together. It's nice to have one person kind of assemble a slide deck and other people on the team make their own slides where they put the content in and then send them to the one person who can kind of format them to be homogeneous and beautiful. So you have your slides put together. That was really easy. Now I would suggest practicing individually on the slides that you decide each person is to talk about, and then coming together, practicing as a group, making sure you're in time, and then going out and enjoying the presentation in front of judges. Just make sure you have fun. You put a lot of work into this, you spent a lot of hours together as a team. Now's your chance to show it and enjoy the process. So that was my brief overview of how to do a case competition if you're just getting started. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to leave any comments down below if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Have a great day, and God bless.